What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome in to the Seattle Mariners post game recap. No little fun quip at the beginning. I'm just going to dive into it for the most part. The Mariners lose today 4-2 to the Kansas City Royals. They fall to 23-20 on the year. They do remain in first place in the AL West. As always, do me a favor. I'm not going to say smash the like button. You know who I'm talking to. You smash it too hard. Let's go with tapping the like button. No, I appreciate all your guys' support. Liking the video. If you're new here, lurking, subscribing, subscribe, just two easy free ways to help support my channel. So thank you to all of you that have done that. Love y'all. Thank you so much for the support. I'm here for the wins and I'm here for the losses. We'll celebrate the wins and we'll get through losses together. Baseball is the true definition of a marathon and not a sprint. So like I said, the Mariners lose this one 4-2. Listen, frustrating. They were up 1-0 in the top of the seventh, and we're 7 outs away from a victory. Logan Gilbert threw the ball really well. And, unfortunately, Velasquez gets him to the 3-run home run. You end up losing the game. That aspect is frustrating for sure. Big picture, win tomorrow, win a series. You're a win away here from taking 2 out of 3 from Kansas City and having a 4-2 homestand. Never going to complain about that. So as far as how this loss feels for me, not one that I'm super bummed out about. I'll talk about why. But there are a few takeaways I have from this game. And the first one being, which may surprise you a little bit, this team absolutely has to acquire another reliever if they want to get to win the AL West or go further than that. And you saw why tonight. Logan Gilbert stays out there, pitches to Nelson Velasquez in the 7th inning. Velasquez hits him for a 3-run home run. I think that's Velasquez's 900th home run against the Mariners. I'm pretty sure like half his career home runs are against the Seattle Mariners. I don't blame Scott for leaving for leaving Logan Gilbert in to face Velasquez. He strikes out Michael Massey. Truthfully, probably should have been out of the inning. Josh Rojas, this is in the top of the 7th. Josh Rojas boots a double play, which I'm pretty sure they would have turned on Pasquantino and would have been 2 outs. And then maybe Logan gets Salvador Perez out and you go on. Then Perez walks, Massey comes up, strikes out, and Velasquez hits the home run. So normally that's probably a spot where Scott takes out Logan Gilbert, probably after the Perez walk. And maybe he gets to face Perez, but that probably would have been it. But look at what you have in the bullpen tonight. Andres Munoz, I'm going to take a pretty big shot in the dark and say he was not available tonight. He had pitched the last 2 days. You did not have Munoz today. So you're already out your best reliever. And then your other options in that case are Trent Thornton. Trent Thornton's been pretty solid. Do you trust Trent Thornton in that spot? After Velasquez hits the 3-run home run, you can say, yeah. But, Logan or Trent Thornton, who do you go with there? My gut tells me stick with Logan, see if you can get out of it. Gabe Spire's been great, but overall, his last few outings have been shaky. Do you want a lefty coming in to face Velasquez? No, you probably want to stick with the right-handed pitcher. And outside of that, Cody Bolton, Austin Voth, Edward Bizardo, that's who's down in the bullpen right now. That is absolutely a game where they probably, listen, any reliever can give up runs. Matt Brash gave up a home run last year to Velasquez in a game in Kansas City. So there's no guarantee that even a fully healthy Mariners bullpen wins the game. But that's probably a spot where you use a Matt Brash or a Gregory Santos if they're healthy in that position. And I know I mention those guys every video, but it's rearing its head. This is why I've talked about this team is going to have to add a reliever. It's not that the bullpen has been Stanek would be your other reliever, and Stanek hasn't exactly been lights out. The bullpen's been good overall. It has been. I'm not trying to hate on the guys that are there. I think Trent Thornton's a capable reliever, but he's more of like your third, fourth reliever. He's not your fireman that you're bringing into that spot. That was kind of that fireman role that Matt Brash had last year. That's where you bring him in. And then you've got Gregory Santos. Let's say Munoz has pitched the last 2-3 days. Well, you've got Brash. Then maybe you add on some runs and you can go to Trent Thornton 3-0, and then Santos can finish it out or whatever you want to do or reverse that. They don't have that fireman in the bullpen right now. Now, Logan was at like 93 pitches. Not like Logan was at 115 here. I have no problem trying to get that last out from Logan, get it to the 7th, maybe can add him some runs, and then hope that Thornton, some combination of Thornton, Spire, kind of finish off the game for you. I think that was the goal. Unfortunately, Logan leaves a little bit of a hanging slider there, and the rest is history. But that's why I'm saying this team needs another bullpen arm, because that's probably a spot that you go to someone there that you trust. that's rested. Logan's pitch counts in the 90s. You can go to a reliever there that's fully rested and has an arsenal that can get a Nelson Velasquez out. I talked about it on Twitter. A guy I would be calling about right now is old friend Austin Adams in Oakland. I would be on the phone with the A's right now about him. Here's the thing. You're not getting Mason Miller. You're not. Everyone can talk about Mason Miller. One, he's got club control. Like, I would love Mason Miller. If they acquire Mason Miller tomorrow, I'll be excited. But Mason Miller's got a ton of club control. He is going to cost you legitimate prospects. And I'm sorry, I'm not sending some of my top prospects to a division rival for a reliever. I'm just not doing that. Austin Adams, you can probably throw like your number 28 prospect and another random minor leaguer, and you could probably get Austin Adams tomorrow. Yes, the A's are playing better. They are going to sell. They are not going to hold on to those guys. They know what they're up against. They know they're overperforming a little bit. You could call the A's tomorrow and probably get Austin Adams right away. Now, there's better arms probably available. Well, Paul Sewald, people have mentioned that. Love the idea of bringing back Paul. The Diamondbacks are not selling right now. That is going to be the earliest at the trade deadline that they decide to sell. You've got Justin Lawrence in Colorado, probably going to be a little more expensive. Tanner Scott might be a little more expensive. You could go out tomorrow and get yourself an Austin Adams. And guess what? Austin Adams' razor blade sliders probably strike out Nelson Velasquez, and that's him thing. I'm not blaming them for not having Adams or somebody else on the roster right now. I get it. It's not that easy to say, hey, go make a trade. No, there's a lot of stuff you've got to do to make that work. It's not that easy. But you can see where they need another arm there. You can see, and it doesn't guarantee, like Adams could have given up a home run to Velasquez. Matt Brash could have, Santos could have, Munoz could have. Sometimes you just get beat. Sometimes, your pitcher goes on the mound and just gets beat there. Don't have a problem there. Scott's trying to get one extra out of Logan Gilbert. Logan was extremely good tonight. He had just struck out Massey, and you could make a case that shouldn't have even gotten to that point in the inning because Rojas kind of botched the double play. I'm not going to hop on Rojas too much. He has been arguably the Mariners' best player this season. But another reliever, I think we'd all agree, would be very nice in a situation like that. Honestly, though, outside of that, this game as a whole is kind of a flush away game for me. You need another bullpen arm. The good news is there's a lot of them available. Adams is just the first name that pops into my head. There's probably 13 Austin Adamses out there that you could acquire. Listen, the offense wasn't good. 2 runs on 7 hits. And let me pull up the box score here. And 2 walks, not a great offensive performance. You're also down 4 starters today. You still don't have J.P. Crawford and Dominic Canzone back against a right-handed pitcher tonight, Michael Wacha. Jorge Polanco, not in the lineup because of the hamstring issue. Mitch Garver, a scratch. Let me see. Do we find out why Mitch Garver was scratched? Let me see if I can pull something up here. Let me see if I can find why Mitch Garver was scratched. This is super professional, as always. What you guys came to see is me typing. Mitch Garver. Back spasm. So it's something that Scott Servais and Mitch Garver scratching on back spasms in his upper back. A little different than the lower back spasms he had earlier in the year. So that could be back in the lineup tomorrow. Could be missing. They'll probably give him tomorrow off and let him rest Thursday would be my guess. And hopefully he is back on Friday. So, you don't have Mitch Garver. You don't have Jorge Polanco. You're already down JP and Canzone. Now, listen, Garver and Polanco have been better of late. Polanco had a nice game yesterday. Garver's been fairly hot. They're not blowing the cover off the ball. So I'm not trying to stand here. It's not like they didn't have a Shohei Ohtani in the lineup or Ken Griffey Jr. in the lineup or anything like that. But they're still your starters and your better hitters. So now you've got to have Luis Urias play at third base against a righty. Mitch Haniger is supposed to get a day off now. He's DHing. Mitch actually had a great day, so that's probably not the best example there. But Sam Haggerty's got to play and hit left-handed, his weaker side, and get the start. You know what I mean? So Dylan Moore at shortstop. Not Dylan. Obviously, Dylan Moore's been playing a lot of shortstop with J.P. Crawford out. You don't have a pinch hitter available late in the game. In that 9th inning, maybe normally you pinch hit for Dylan Moore there, or you pinch hit for Luis Urias. You don't have that option. So missing 4 guys I thought was really, really key to the lineup struggling today. And there's only so many injuries you can put up with. Not an excuse. The offense didn't do good enough. Not a great performance. I'm not saying we should just throw it away. They need to be better. but they have been playing better of late. I talked about Michael Wacha in my series preview. He's better than his numbers would indicate. Someone that you would hope the Mariners can hit. I'm not saying that just accept Michael Wacha shutting you down, but he is much better than his 5 ERA would indicate. And again, being down even more starters made the lineup a little bit easier to navigate through. I've been impressed with the Mariners' depth overall this year. I think it's much better than in years past. But it's hard to expect, a ton out of the lineup when you're just missing that many guys. And I know JP and Canzone have been out for a while. So I'm not trying to just throw that in there like, Jay, they've been out for a month. So what difference does that have to make? It's just as a whole now. And when you factor in the Polanco and Garver injuries, and it's not like anybody was placed on the IL. So your bench today was Sebi Zavala and Leo Rivas. So like I said, in some of those later at-bats, Mitch Haniger hits that home run the ninth. Maybe that's a spot where, you have Jorge Polanco. If he's kind of able to go, he can pinch hit or something like that. Or if Rojas gets a day off or something, you know what I mean? You just don't have those options right now, unfortunately. So it makes it tougher on the offense as a whole. They've been swinging the bats better. This game in general, like I said, frustrating. They had a 1-0 lead. They're 7 outs away from a victory. That part of it is frustrating, but just not a loss that I'm going to lose too much sleep over. Win tomorrow, win a series. That's all I can say there. Let's look at the box score real quick. Logan Gilbert, 6 2/3, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 3 walks, 7 Ks. You could make a case that some of those runs shouldn't be earned because Rojas probably should have made that play, but you can't assume a double play, so there's no error on that play. So Logan is charged for all 3. I feel like Logan has had some issues getting that final out a little bit, and that could just be something perception in my head, but it does feel like he always maybe overthrows a pitch or something late and just doesn't quite finish off the inning. Sometimes Logan was fantastic. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but it does feel like he sometimes overthrows a little bit and has trouble finishing an inning. A little bit, like I said, it was a hanging slider a bit to Velasquez. Not a terror. It was inside enough that, Velasquez does a nice job turning on it. But, unfortunately, an amazing outing ends up being just kind of a forgotten good outing for Logan Gilbert. But he was solid. Trent Thornton pitches an inning, gives up a hit, a run, an earned run, a walk, and a strikeout. He gave up the base hit to Garcia. Terrible 0-2 pitch from Thornton, just a hanging sweeper. Yeah, again, like you can kind of see, like I think Trent Thornton's fine. I have no problem with Trent Thornton. He's been pretty solid this year. But he gives up that run. You can see why they're hesitant to use him in those tight spots. And that's my point there. I'm almost 99.9% sure if this bullpen was fully healthy, and let's assume Munoz was down, but Brash and Santos were good to go. There is zero doubt in my mind that Matt Brash is coming in. Probably actually for Salvador Perez would have been my guess, honestly. But definitely for Velasquez, no doubt. So again, like I think Thornton's fine, but he's more of your like, he's kind of in that, you've got your relief aces, the Munoz, the Brashes, the Santos that are they're your firemen. They're putting out, they're coming into situations like we saw today. Thornton's kind of in that next year. He's solid. If those guys are out, like, sure, you can get away with using them. But again, I can see why they don't fully trust him yet in those spots. Kirby Snead pitched really well in his third inning, got a strikeout, and Cody Bolton works a clean ninth inning with the strikeout. Offensively, Rojas 0 for 3 does work a walk. Julio gets a couple hits. Good to see. I know they weren't necessarily hit very hard. Well, actually, the line drive that went off of Schreiber was hit pretty hard. The other one wasn't, but good to see Julio with a couple hits. Ty has a nice hit in the 8th inning, which extended that inning, gave Cal Raleigh a shot as the tying run to the plate, all you can ask for. Rough game for Cal, 0 for 4. Luke Raley stays hot, 1 for 4 with a solo home run. His season OPS now up to 729. Raley has really come out of it and done a nice job for this team. So, like I said, against righties, hope we see more Raley and Canzone. Of course, yesterday after I spent a 10-minute rant on Mitch Haniger and how he should be moved down in the order and getting more days off. He was moved down the order a little bit, but he goes 3 for 3 with the solo home run and a walk. So Mitch on base 4 times today. Maybe, you know what? The bullpen is just going to dominate now in the next few games. After I talked about acquiring a reliever, this bullpen is just going to go off. Great game for Mitch. Mitch Haniger doing that is great for the team. I would much rather have Mitch Haniger continue to do that than having to sit him. I still think it would be beneficial to give Haniger some days off here. Obviously, it's tough right now with all the injuries, and especially now with Garver not being available and Polanco not being available, makes it even tougher. But real nice game for Mitch Haniger for sure. Demo and Urias 0 for 4, and Sam Haggerty 0 for 3. So the bottom of the order flames out a little bit. They've been pretty solid, but just, couldn't get anything going today. I repeat myself, but, win a game, win a series tomorrow. You got Brian Wu on the bump. Find a way to get the W, 4-2 homestand. You're going to head to this pretty tough road trip here with Baltimore, New York, and a Nationals team that's playing a lot better. So it's going to be a tough road trip. Love to get that series win here before a day off and heading out on the East Coast trip. Get to 24-20 and a chance to prove yourself against some of the top teams in the American League. Not going to win them all. The Mariners have been playing pretty good ball as of late. This one just didn't get me that frustrated. It hurt because, like I said, Logan was so close to 7 shutout innings, and maybe you win it 1-0 if you can get the bullpen in there. Maybe they do shut them down. Who knows? Maybe add on another run or something like that. So, all losses are frustrating. They all are, and especially one where you're 7 outs away from winning. But I think you guys can see why I'm hoping this team acquires a reliever. No, I do not think it was Scott's fault for sticking with Logan there. I think it's a tough spot. I think that is a tough spot for a manager. And that's why I would say, I'm not saying, like, again, not to say you can't be critical of Scott. He is the manager of the team. And at the end of the day, the wins, losses will ultimately fall on him. Did he do enough or didn't he do enough? But put yourself in those shoes. Do you trust Trent Thornton there? Do you, even if you would be like, no, I'd go to Thornton, there'd be hesitation, but okay, I'm done. Let's see if Thornton can do it. No matter what you do, that's a tough decision to make. Not as tough if you got Matt Brash warming up out there. Not as tough if you got Austin Adams warming up out there. Good to go. So go get a reliever. Should be pretty easy. There's a bunch of them out there, and you got some teams that are going to sell that you should be able to acquire one here pretty quickly and bounce back tomorrow, get the W. That's all I got for you guys. Drop a like, drop a comment, and then do not forget to hit subscribe if you are new here. Have a great night, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow night for the post-game recap. I won't have one out right after the game, but hopefully a few hours after, so it shouldn't be super late tomorrow. So hopefully the Mariners can get that series W. Take care, everybody, and as always, go Mariners.